Well, listen, guys, we are on the home run. The idea is to finish the training by 5:30. That's less than an hour. And there's a couple of things that we'd like to do before we finish. The first is to hear the stories of the models and do a little bit of a debrief on what you've just been through. So I'm going to suggest we spend about 25 minutes doing that. And then we'll do some feedback on the 2 days and then reflecting on learning. So let's hear the stories of the two models. Serti, who is going to run through the story of your model? And let me just remind you of the build question. It is a shared model to show the group's key learning from this 2-day training.
Okay, Janine or Joshua, who wants to go?
Janine, how about you? I just
yeah, I
just recapped. That's fair. That's fair. So shall I point through on my version or on?
I'll be your hand. I'll be your hands here.
Okay,
on my cam here.
So let me pin that view.
So Serti, it's good practice just to repeat the build question before somebody starts to tell the story.
So the build question was to build 2 models to show the group's key learnings on this 2-day training.
It was actually to build a shared model.
The shared model, sorry, at this phase, yes, of course.
Yeah. Okay, take it away.
Perfect. Magic Hands, could you rotate this so it's like at a diagonal?
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, there we go. Great. Okay. So on the north corner that you can see we have 3 sets of bricks. So we have some green, we have some red, and we have some blue. And those are the 3 major components of preparing for the workshop. So the green brick with the flag is that objective setting. That red brick is really nailing that build question. And then we have the blue bricks, which represent the reflection questions. On top of those bricks, you can see we have our facilitator who's like gearing themselves up. So as they move through those points, they're getting more and more ready to lead that workshop. And then when we're at the end of it, so the blue reflective bricks, you'll see the facilitator also has a gray brick in their hand, and those are meant to represent the clean questions that they're going to ask over the course of the workshop, so that they're not influencing things but are helping the group develop. On top of the facilitator's head, we have the yellow brick, which I think is technical knowledge, and I think the green is that overall expertise. I'll cycle back to the items to the immediate left and to the right of our facilitator in a little bit, but let's talk about our participants. So we've got our participants in the southwest and the southeast corners. They're both on platforms that spin, and so the actual platform itself is having that really strong internet connection, which is going to allow for that interactivity. So the spinning is allowing them to participate in the workshop together. They both have mirrored setups. So the orange brick for both of them is representing the platform, so the actual platform that we're displaying those models as we go through the days together. Behind the participants, you can see they have lights, so the importance of them having good lighting. And then they each have the clear bricks, which represent their computer. And on their computer, you can see they've got mirror images. So they've got a green brick, one has a green brick, one has a red brick. And that's showing that everybody has the same materials in the workshop. They both also have eyes on top, which are those cameras, so that they're at optimal camera angles so we can see everything that everybody's doing. And then you'll notice each participant has opposite colored bricks, and that's meant to represent that these are shared models and shared bricks throughout the whole experience. So getting rid of that, like being polite, I'm only going to touch my bricks, and picking up as you're moving through those shared components, so that if somebody else made a really awesome part of a model, that you feel ownership and you can take it and run with it. And they've actually got their hands on them to encourage people to mediate the conversation or have the conversation through the model. So if something doesn't work, recommend that you have those magic hands pick up and move those objects. On the outside of our training, we have our old friend, our safe environment that's been well planned. So creating that safe space for everyone and adhering to that process that we've laid out. And I think the final things we haven't talked about with the facilitator, you can see we have the lighting and we have the camera. And so those are duplicated, meaning that the facilitator has to have just a lot more tech equipment in order to get the right camera angles and have more of those bricks so that they can do all of the collaborative models. I think that's everything on the model, I hope.
I think that deserves a round of applause for everyone on your team. Well done. Well done.